What's going on, Chemical Guys family, and thanks so much for joining us on the continuation of this H2 Hummer detail. Joey and I are going to tackle the wash process, but before we do that, we've got some minor details to address, and that is the wheel wells. Joey just finished cleaning off those wheels and they look great, and now the overall vehicle is starting to look a little worse because the wheels look so good. So we're going to show you guys how to properly restore your undercarriage as well as your wheel wells and any kind of suspension components very easily and very quickly, and then we're going to move on to the wash process. Like I'd mentioned, Joey already cleaned off these wheels and tires and they look fantastic, but now the overall look of the vehicle is detracting. So we're going to go through the steps on how to properly clean off the little details such as the trim and also the undercarriage, the suspension components, and using one simple product, which is orange degreaser that we've diluted 8:1. This is perfectly safe for your brake components, your suspension, your wheel well liners, and anything else underneath your vehicle. Simply spray it directly onto the surface. And this is going to start to soften up grease and grime, help lift off stubborn dirt and mud. We've already rinsed off the wheel well, but that wasn't enough to remove the dirt, so now that's why we're coming back with the orange degreaser. Just get rid of any kind of stubborn filth and grime. Now while that's dwelling on the surface, we're going to use our wheelie flag tip brush to help agitate the cleaner. And the soft bristle brush is going to help not only agitate the cleaner, but it's also going to soften up any stubborn grime and grease. And it's going to help lift it off of the surface so that we can rinse it away and have a perfectly clean finish. And we also have a bucket with just clean water and a dirt trap. This is just going to be for our rinsing purposes, just so we're not bringing that grease and grime back onto the wheel well or the suspension that we're working on. And you can use this on virtually any vehicle, whether you have a lifted truck that has exposed suspension parts and wheel well liners, or a low profile vehicle where you just want to keep your wheel wells looking fresh, or underneath the vehicle to get all that grease and road grime off the surface. Also spray the brush for some added cleaning power, and we'll start scrubbing, lifting off any kind of mess to reveal a bare finish. So now that we're done rinsing off the wheel well liner, you can see that it's removed all that grease and grime as well as the tar and dirt that was stuck to the inner wheel well. But now we have 3 more to continue with, so we're going to jump on that. Joey's going to help me with that, and then we're going to move on to the actual washing process, showing you how to properly foam up and remove dust and dirt without scratching your vehicle.
Alright guys, so now that me and Nick are finished cleaning the undercarriage, it's time to get onto the wash. So right now Nick is going to go ahead and set up our Big Mouth Max Release Foam Cannon paired with some Mr. Pink, which is a super high sudsing soap. So he's going to pour about 2 to 3 ounces of Mr. Pink inside the canister, and then we're going to fill up the rest with water. Alright guys, so now that we filled it up with about 2 to 3 ounces of soap, now we're going to go ahead and fill it up with water, and Nick's going to do that simply by dunking it into our fresh, clean bucket of water. Now it's all filled up. We're going to put the nozzle on the top, and then we're going to go ahead and stir that bottle. That way we mix the water and the soap and get nice and mixed up. Cool. And just like that, our foam cannon is ready to go. Now it's time to set up our 2-bucket method, and we're gonna do that using 2 different buckets. One clean water, and the other one's gonna be our soap water. So we're gonna go ahead and put 2 dirt traps in there, at an angle, and then set it down flat as we get towards the bottom. And that's as easy as that. And now we're gonna go ahead and dunk our mitts into our wash bucket. Go ahead and choose one, Nick. And then we're gonna pour about—
They're both getting dunked now. So.
And now we're gonna go ahead and pour about 1 ounce of our Mr. Pink into our bucket. And now that we've done that, we're gonna go ahead and grab our TORQ snubby and activate those suds. So now that our suds are activated, we're gonna go ahead and rinse off the H2, and then we're gonna start foaming and then start wiping it down.
So we just finished rinsing and foaming off the H2 Hummer, and now we're gonna move on to the actual scrubbing process using 2 chenille microfiber wash mitts. Joey's got a blue to represent the boys in blue for washing this Hummer, and I'll be using a 3-way wash mitt which has 1 microfiber side, a scrubbing bug side, and then again a chenille noodle side. And a few things to keep in mind when you're foaming your ride is that the foam is acting as a lubricant that helps soften up abrasive particles of dust and dirt, and then your mitt is what's going to help guide it off of the surface, which is why it's important to have a very soft mitt such as the chenille, which helps to lubricate and then also carry it off of the surface. And then using the 2-bucket method, we have 1 bucket for soap and then 1 bucket for rinsing, meaning that this is going to be dedicated just for cleaning off the debris from our wash mitt, and then it's going to get trapped underneath those dirt traps, keeping it off of the vehicle. And then we'll grab some more foam, go back to the vehicle, and then working in linear motions will safely remove any kind of debris without installing any kind of swirls. So while Joey's tackling the higher areas on a stepladder, I'll be working on the lower areas. And this is why we have 2 people working on this vehicle, because as you see, it's massive, and to expedite the process and save us some time and effort, we have 2 guys out here to get this done as fast as possible. Alrighty guys, so we've come to the final step of our wash process, which is going to be drying this beautiful Hummer. I'm going to be using a large Woolly Mammoth Drying Towel while Joey is using the Pro Blow. These are 2 awesome methods to get rid of any kind of water spots or drips, while also preventing any kind of water spots on your ride to get that perfect scratch-free finish. So guys, thanks so much for tuning in for today's episode. If you want to check out any of the products you saw in today's video, head over to our website, chemicalguys.com, or to your local detail garage. And again guys, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.